Halo, eh apa ya? Oke oke. Alright. Halo, we are from Security Patrol Robot RA054. Before present start, uh, I I introduced myself before. My name is Andre Navra Putra, and I am the pro team leader of the 4WD Security Night Patrol Robot project. Here today is the dedicated team that has been working tirelessly for the past around 7 weeks. The first members with Afif and Willy are mechanical structure and enclosure specialist. Nabila, our power system and electrical integration law. Priscilla, our advanced navigation and GPS specialist. Sorry, Silvanus, our computer vision and AI detection expert. Marcos, or UI development and communication system lead, and Kel and Josan, who handle the critical traction control and fail-safe system. Our primary mission of this one semester project is clear and ambitiously to build a purely function 4WD autonomous security patrol robot capable of independent navigation across campus, equipped with intelligent object detection and a reliable real-time communication system. Now, let's begin with a high-level overview of our progress. The first present is mechanical from Muhammad Atif Nugroho.
So this is our last design for this semester, and for this robot design, we took inspiration from the Husky robot by ClearPath Robotic. The dimension are 150 millimeter leg and 450 millimeter wide and 217 millimeter height. For the robot body, we will use 2 millimeter plates. We choose 2 millimeter plates because they are affordable and water resistant. After finalize the design, we will process with fabrication, but this will depend on material available to ensure the robot is waterproof. We will use acrylic sealant between the plates to prevent water from entering. After assembly and sealing, we will apply sticker to the robot body for smoother finish. Lanjut Gal. Lanjut. Just pilih.
So I just to design the layout of the components on the robot. I think that there's for elements of the employees to get close to the robot. I know the employees not inside the box because they are viewing the trays on the left and right of the robot. On the center, as you can see, there are the
Ulang
four
gak sih?
USB
Ulang gak sih?
components
Ulang gak sih?
and the robot. In the middle, you can see
Ulang.
the initial design of the aquarium that I made. And on the right, you see the little box. Um, the robot according to our bigger we don't have this position because the air is down in this picture.
Next, kau next. Bodoh kali, Pak.
Okay, next. The person with electrical division of robot is Nabila. Please present about electrical.
Okay, this is a schematic diagram that puts robot component. Components of our robot is Jetson, two display, four motor driver, DC motors, ESP, and the others. There's are two battery. The first is 24 volts, which is distributed to the motor driver and spotlight. The second is a 7-volt battery. Voltage is reduced through a step down and output 5 volts and distributed to Jetson. The controller is the Jetson Xavier, which is the controllers of GPS, MPU, and the others. Then controls for managing the motors are two ESP units, one ESP control two motor driver, and each motor driver control one DC motor. Okay, next.
Tir. Enggak, next Tir.
And this is the diagram block, 2 dimension. The component is describe the direction of the components in the robot. Okay.
Next.
Okay, done is about electrical robot. So next me. Here, I will present my research on tracking control system, comparing the performance of PID control and an encoder sensor only. This is before semester versus and now have implement ANN controller implement of on ESP32 microcontroller. Before before diving into the main discuss, I'd like to address several issues that become the background of this research. Best at least semester evaluation first is the solution to overcome the power problem of the robot not running straight after about range 1 meters. Well, sorry, about range 1 meter. There is defects cycling not straight, but the robot is running is not straight, but the turn a little left or right. The second, how does the performance of a PD controller compare of the two that of an ANN controller for tracking control? Third, can INN be implemented on inexpensive microcontroller such as ESP32? And last, what is the trade-off between performance and compilation efficiency? And all the above problem the last semester I will search and I will present it today. Now I will explain the component used the next research. Please next. Okay, first the power supply in the from Panasonic to 12-volt battery. This is power supply from the project basics. and second ESP32, and third the motor driver AMS30A hybrid, and the last component motor DC 24 volt. uh, uh, Please go back to presentation before. I want to explain about flowchart PAD. Before I want to view about the ANN controller implement the control motor, I want to explain briefly about different PAD controller and versus ANN controller. The PAD flowchart start with the start PAD controller that the system reads the desired set point RPM. Next, the system reads the actual RPM from the encoder to get the currently current motor speed. Then the system calculate the error, which is the difference between the set point and actual RPM. This error then enter the PAD calculate block with consists of three components: the first proportional, integral, and deriva- defi- derif- derivative. Three, there's three components are submit to generate the output PWM signal, which is then sent to the motor driver. The motor driver to mo- the motor driver the motor, and the new motor speed will be uploaded. Then the feedback loop return to the encoder ready. The process repeats continuously in the real time to maintain the motor speed according to the set point. The currently of the PAD is simple, fast, of course a lot uh, brain of the motor. So I want to explain how to compare PAD basic to the new control motor. They say is ANN controller. The flowchart start with the star ANN controller and a lot training ANN module that has been previously trained using Crash and TensorFlow. The system then read multiple sensor data, not just speed like PAD, but also motor current, torque, and volt. And this message and sensor data is the normalized to center range, usually 0 to 1 or -1 to 1 to match the neural network input layer. Next, data enter the input layer, which has three neurons to receive speed, uh, pure Karen and Torsi input, and the data the process toward hidden layer 1 and hidden layer 2 with RALU activation. Function that performance deep learning computation. The output from hidden layers enters the output layers, which generate a control signal. The signal is the generated into PWM output sent to the motor driver, and the motor move according to command. The new motor the new motor speed is then stored as data for online learning, allow the ANN to continuously learn and adapt it. The Yeah, this is works about INN controller. Basically, INN this is AI in the motor control in the motor. So it's better I use INN than PAD. Okay, next about the experiment. Next. Okay, the first gap in the upper life is the step response comparison which show how both controllers respond to sudden set point change. From this graph, we can see the red line, which is ANN controller, has a very fast rise time, raising the set point about zero point 0.2 second. There is an overshot of about 10% before stabilizing. The second graph show dynamic tracking performance, which is the controller's ability to follow dynamically changing reference signal like sinusate. The green line is the target to be followed. It can be is seen that the INN controller, the red line, is able to follow the target very strictly. Almost overplaying while the PAD controller, that blue line, follows well, but there is a slightly pass delay. So better make to INN that PAD controller. And the last graph is the bottom, the real-time computation load, which is show the computation time of both controller. The PAD controller only requires 0 h milliseconds, very accident very default, will the ANN controller request 2.1 milliseconds, about 2.6 times slower, and the green light show the 10 milliseconds requirement limit for real-time system, and both controllers are still far below the limit. So, inclusion INN excel, excels in speed, performance, and tracking, while PAD excel in completion, efficiency, dan stability. Stability. Uh, the conclusion is regarding controller performance. The NN controller excel in response speed, which is it 3 times faster than PAD, better dynamic tracking performance, and adaptability to changing conditions. Uh, that the PAD controller excel in compu- computation efficiency, which is 2.9 times faster, stability without overshot, and is of implement the payment tuning. For me, is done about present and tracking control with INN controller, and about little greatly about PAD controller. Thank you for me. And the next present is Priscilla Tiara as navigation system by robot. Please welcome.
Okay, so I'm here at app and I'm in charge of the navigation part of the system. So, what? Hello? looking address
Tengah nanti. Titik dulu, Pak.
in the chapter begin part with that. So in this part, I work on how to get visualize into a map UI. The GPS data is published and then subscribed to the GPS topic enough. So as you guys can see on the screen, it's showing load the data of the GPS system robot.
Kok semua nih?
Udah.
Di menit 21 ya kan nanti kan kepotong.
Menit 21 ya.
21 kepotong ya.
Udah mau kata tetap aja. Ada yang
Kok cowok itu punya?
ada apa bisa?
Itu udah. Nah, itu udah.
Nanti kan ini edit lagi ya.
Udah setengah loh.
Gimana lagi jadinya nggak pause aja tadi. Nggak bisa pause. Sudah.
Hello. Okay. So here, I'm Tiara, and I'm in charge of the navigation part using GPS. So in this part, I work on how the GPS data is visualized into a map GUI, as you can see in the screen. So the GPS data is published and then subscribed to the GPS related topic on ROS 2. So for displaying the map, I use OpenStreetMap as a free map source. And as you can see on the slide, the GPS coordinates are successfully shown in real time on the map GUI. But however, there are still a few problems for the navigation system. The first one is that the map keeps blinking as it updates following the GPS data. And the second issue is that the map still needs an internet connection, so it's not online. It's not offline yet. And next. Wait a minute. Okay. So next, I also analyze the GPS update rate to see how it affects the data stability. Here for the first one, we got 1 hertz. For 1 hertz, the data updates once per second. So it has a lot of small drifts and isn't really stable, but it's actually better for real-time tracking since it responds quickly. Meanwhile, the 5 hertz, usually GPS has 5 hertz as the default update rate, which is the data is a bit more stable with less drift, but it has a small delay, about 1 or 2 seconds, so it's not fully real time. And for the next step, I want to apply on the navigation system in this robot is to make the map available offline, so it can still work even without an internet connection. Then I also want to research how to make the GPS data more precise with filtration or something like that. And finally, for the next stage of the navigation, I'll start focusing on tracking and a research on the autonomous movement so that the robot can follow a path automatically based on the GPS data. Okay, that's all for the navigation system. Thank you.
Okay, okay. Next, present autos return. Basically, file save robot. If the robot is robot running with signal GPS and collaboration with controller by tracking control. If GPS doesn't is not uh, is not ready, GPS uh, robot robot cannot running the with A to B. So first step is the uh, safety the robot. If the robot cannot ready GPS, robot will return GPS. If the robot um, not ready GPS range 6 minutes, 6 minutes, robot will come back to checkpoint before or with A. So yeah, this is the first uh, progress about spell safe. You can see about the flowchart. Uh, you can see just the flowchart. We use the VSM method. Before I want to explain about failsafe, uh, autos return. We have two members, Josan and me. So I want to explain about my progress in the failsafe. In this slide, I present the three flowchart. Basically, this is one flowchart because the lot working VSM the robot. So I want to for three flowchart. So the first flowchart on the left is the VSM or finite state machine for the patrol navigation. The midland flowchart show the auto return algorithm activate during critical conditions, and the right flowchart is the continuous the safety monitor that monitors the robot condition in the real time for 247 three system work is integrated manner to ensure the robot can return home safely under by coordinates. So the first chart on the left is the VSM patrol navigation, which control robot movement during patrol missions. The system start from the ADLA states. This is the command. When if the receive a star command, the robot enter the patrol to build one state. At each patrol state, the system perform critical check. Is GPS functioning normally, and is battery is still above to to 5% or not? If yes, the robot calculate the road to the destination will and start moving. If no, or if a problem occurs, the system immediately trigger auto return. After arriving to bullet 1, the robot continued to bullet 2 with the same process. And after arriving to bullet 2, the robot automatically active this algorithm to return to home. The process ensures the robot always has a clear path, the return safely. The Midland flowchart is the auto-return algorithm, which is the heart of our fail-safe system. When auto-return the active, it's before it's because the mission is complete or due to energy emergency conditions. The system first retrieves the last GPS position and calculate the distance to home. Then the system performs strategic selection. This is an intelligent decision that distinguishes our system. If the distance to home is less than 5, 5 meters, the system choice direct return, which is direct navigation to home via the shortest path. This is more efficient for short distance. If the distance is more than 50 meters, the system choice backtrack or backtrack return or back to checkpoint before, which is build one. During the return process, the system continually perform arrival check. If the distance to home is less than 3 meters, the mission is like complete. Is this still far? The system check if three the obstacle. If yes, the robot will avoid and calculate the road. If not, the robot continue moving toward to the home. The process looping again to again until the robot success arrival at home safely. If a robot without signal GPS. Uh, about right flowchart, maybe I can explain briefly. The thread flowchart on the right is the continuous safety monitor, which run in parallel with other system. First ada battery check, second GPS signal check, third communication check. These three monitoring functions run continuously even when the robot is ADLE or a low signal to ensure maximum safely. Okay, about next.
Here.
Next, maybe explain about the enclosure about VSM or fail-safe system in the robot security patrol. Can explain by Josan. Okay, Josan is present about the enclosure system, the method you use fail-safe in the robot.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. I will explain my job desk, which is the development of the file system auto-return feature on the security pattern robot. First, I conduct an analysis to find on which robot have already implemented the filter method. For my research, I found that the virtual robot is the that has implemented the system. However, the system is in virtual is different from the one we developed. Uh, Therefore, I made a comparison between the virtual of the virtual robot and also base of the main expert one trigger or what's active the file system data use and robot return method. In the virtual robot, when lost signal, the file system make the robot stop its last dock position. Meanwhile, in the file system, we developed the robot lost signal the will automatically return to the starting point or home position. The detailed method and mechanism of our system will later explained by Putra. Jelasin ini. Gimana?
Okay, maybe I can explain about PSM. Why we use PSM method for file save system. Here, why we use the PSM method? Because GPSM is better to use the robot for file save system. Uh, I have several journally and internet about fast save system method, and inclusive the robot is PSM. You can see the read. You can read about why do you use PSF is better, the more other method system. Maybe for the PSF, enough for us. Next, the present. The next present is uh, Josan again.
Just on the
This is the working
this the working
inclusive basically about PSM method.
method.
Okay, for the install testing phase, I'm starting using dummy data. I took the latitude and longitude coordinate of building A and building B using Google Map. The code is create work the record the latitude and longitude that in the real time as the robot move. So when the robot move the building A to building B, the coordinate will continually change according to the robot position. When the robot when the robot locks in all the data stream process will stop because the given signal is lost. This condition is the detected by the ROS2 system, which ultimately active the file system feature make the robot return to the start point. Okay, next, next. Okay, in this in addition, in the metadata also added battery simulation in stream mode. The system continual monitor the robot battery present. When the battery level drop below 20%, the system will automatic active the file system mode as well, making the robot return to the composition the red. This way, the file system auto return fake work not only when the robot left signal, but also when the battery is low, ensuring the robot can operate safely, efficiently, and autonomous. Okay, next.
Okay, next, finish about the file save. Next, the present is application. Uh, question. Okay. Next, masih auto return. Apa? Atau apa aja, Tir? Aku udah siap nih. Apa aja? Pas, pas, pas. Okay, the next present about communication. No, no. Marcus not here, kan? Okay. Okay, sorry. The next present about the vision by Sylvanus. Please present Sylvanus.
Okay. Now we are going to see about the vision.
Alright everyone, now is my turn to explain about my progress and my objects on this PBL, Security Patrol Robot. So in this case, I have subjects as communication. So before it, I wanted to tell you about what should I do and uh, what I have to in this PBL. So we can back for wiring. Yeah, this is the detail of wiring of this robot. So in this area or in this screen, we can see about the RF-M95 and buzzer and SSCF 04, 04, MPU 6050 and GPS Neo M8N. So basically this communication will be able to transmit data about the control, GPS, sensor, and the vision. But in this case, I use the LoRa for the transmit data for the control and sensor like GPS or buzzer like SSR04. But for vision, I've used the communication from Wi-Fi. So we decide and we have planned to use the Wi-Fi Wi-Fi 5G for the next project in the next semester. So now we will talk about communication about my progress now. Okay. I want to tell about my progress from my progress on my thesis, like my final project. So in this semester, I will be focused to identification and analyze the hardware we have on our workspace. So we just have a MAPI G32 and RFM 95. So we must do a simple implementation for communication with this hardware. So I raised the topic
to my final project is effectiveness of utilizing integrated LoRa MAPI32 for real-time location data transmission system for Patrol Robot Campus. And what's the background of the issues in this case? Okay, for the around the problem is like the need to monitor the location of patrol robot in a large campus area. This in this case, campus area is have a 2 hectare area, so it will be say large area. So the communication will be able to transmit and give the data from long range. So that's why we use the LoRa, long range communication. And Wi-Fi and GSM are limited in power consumption and range. So we not use the Wi-Fi and GSM for the all trans not the transmit all the data, but we use the LoRa for the sensor and control data. Because the data is have a ringan like small data, but the vision have the big data. And it will be able to high res like FPS and frame. So the vision will be not like or like patah-patah, not connect. So we are focused to transmit data GPS for now. So this the conclude the what we have what the problem we have. So we use the LoRa MAPI offers long range and low power communication. So the LoRa will be used the small power consumption. It because the data ringan. Okay. So I had I'm to add this best journal for the detail about how what I've to do for this semester. Okay, this part is the unit mounts to the patrol robot. That's with obtaining location coordinates and transmitting them via LoRa. So first, the U-Blocks Neo M8, and module capture the signals from GPS satellites and converts them into the readable data. That data is then processed by ESP32 inside the MAPI32. So I programmed it to only extract essential data such as latitude and longitude. So once the data is selected and compressed, the RFM9X LoRa module on the MAPI transmit it wirelessly via radio waves. Okay, next, the base station, our data receiver. This is the receiving unit connected to my laptop. So like functioning to capture signals from the robot and forward them to the computer. The LoRa, the LoRa module here receives the radio signals sent by the rover, and the LoRa chips then pass data to the ASP8266 microcontroller. It is crucial to note that even receiving data, I also immediately measure its signal quality, specifically RSSI, like signal strength, and SNR, signal clarity. And finally, the ESP8266 combines the location data from the robot with the signal quality data, then send it to the laptop via USB cable. Okay, next, the monitoring UI. So this is the final part, is the application of my laptop that serves to display the data visually. This application reads the incoming data through the USB connection from the base station, so I can monitor the raw data directly via the serial monitor, and to ensure everything is running smoothly. Simultaneously, the GUI application I create process that data. Location coordinates are used to update the robot's position on the map, while RSSI and SNR data are displayed on a dashboard to monitor connection quality in real time. In this way, I can view the robot's position while simultaneously analyzing how effective the running LoRa communication system is. Next, this is the hardware that I use in the rover and the base. Basically, this is the wiring connection. So for the base connection, I've used the connection from GPS VCC to 343 MAPI pin, and GND to GND, TX from GPS to GPIO 6016, or UR2X RX in MAPI, and RX in GPS connect to GPIO 17 on MAPI 32. And for the rover, that's for rover. That's for rover, and this is for the base station. Our receiver like use ASP8266 and LoRa RFM 95. So from LoRa RFM 95 VCC connect to 3.34 ASP8666, and GND to GND or ground to ground, and MISO from LoRa connect to D6 on ASP, and the MOSI from LoRa connected to D7 in ASP, and SCK from LoRa connected to D5 from ESP, and the NSS from the LoRa RFM connected to D8 ESP, and RST or reset from LoRa connected to D0 on ESP like GPIO N16, and the GIO0 from LoRa connected to D1 on ASP. Alright, that's all that I've explained about my progress and my job desk in this project. This talk about communication. I'm sorry if I have bad communication or bad speaking English. I will be more learning about the speaking, more influential. Thank you so much.
Satu, dua, tiga. Okay, now we will be seeing the vision work that I've been doing all this semester before a test. So this is the title of my final assignment. This is the development of object detection-based surveillance system for campus night patrol robot. So from this title alone, we can see that the environment of the object detection is on campus and it operates in the night. Next. So before we see the solution that I come up with, we can see the problem first. So because it operates in the night, we can see that this model detection will be operating in the dark. And in the dark, we can know that it will make us has a low detailed vision even for a human vision. So from this problem, it creates a goal to make a surveillance system that will know what we are seeing in the dark. So it won't just make us see what it is in the dark, but it will tell us what we are seeing. Next. So these are the hardware that I will be using for this surveillance system. The camera is Logitech Brio webcam. It operates until 4K resolution. It will be connected via USB into a Jetson AGX Savior to operate the model detection in the mini PC. Next. So these are the model architecture of the object detection. So as you can see, these are a lot of boxes and arrows. I will be explaining it to you shortly, explaining it face by face so you can understand what and how this model works. Next. So the first process is actually a pre-processing. So this model uses a dataset of XDark. I grabbed this XDark dataset from Kaggle because this dataset is actually very versatile for a universal use and we can find it very accessible. We can find it in Kaggle, and this dataset is also the most common dataset that is used throughout a lot of low light condition object detection project. You can see in a lot of journals they use this dataset in their project also. In a different method of camera, they will also use this branch of dataset also, which are the X Dark Plus. But because what we are using is a regular camera, we will be just using the X Dark dataset. And before we go to the process of object detection, we pre-process the data using the zero DCE enhancement. So what this does, it enhances the image data before it processed to the model. What it does is actually adjusting the saturation, the contrast, so the data, the image data will be refined and the picture will be more contrast and we can see clearer between what is in the dark and what is in the light. Next. And here goes to the backbone. This is the first process of the model object detection. So from this alone, you can see that my model architecture is actually based on a YOLO V11 small model. And why do I use this? Why not just use the regular YOLO V11? Because this YOLO V11 small is faster than the regular YOLO V11. What makes this model very different is actually it has a lesser process than the smaller one. What process is that? So in the regular YOLO V11, the YOLO V convolutes the features down until 20 times 20, and the YOLO V11 small convolutes the features down to 80 times 80. And what this means is actually when we take a faster model, we actually take away a little bit of the precision too. So it trades off it trades off precision for speed, and this model is actually very suitable for a live object detection. So this is very suitable for a live surveillance system. Next. And this is the neck of the YOLO V11 small. I still use the base of the YOLO V11 small, but what I did here is actually put an SCL block. So what is SCL? SCL is actually a selective contrastive learning. So what it does, it take a pairs of data. So it take one pair of a challenging negative data, and it take one pair of a beneficial positive data, and it will be put like a contrast. So if we put it in the context of low light detection, the negative data is actually the ones in the dark that we obviously cannot see anything from it. And what we do with the data is actually we don't use it, we throw it away. And then we use the beneficial data, which are the ones in the data that is emitted with enough light for detection. And this is actually what selective contrastive learning is. And in this block, it has two modules that help this learning, facilitate this learning better. There is a special attention module and channel attention module. The special attention module tells you where you should focus, and the channel attention module tells you what you need to focus on. So these two modules help SEO logic do better. Next. And this is the final phase, which are the head. So usually the common vision object detection model uses CNN as their head. CNN is a convolutional neural network. So even though it has another methods, it usually use another method also like SSD, which are the single shot detection, but usually they use CNN. But what I'm using is actually an RCNN head, and this is actually the faster one. What is the difference between RCNN and CNN? RCNN method uses a region-based method to scan the whole feature and then put a bounding box and a classifier. So the CNN scans all of them, while the region based, what he does is actually just scan the region where there is a possibility of a detection there. So this actually fits perfectly with the low light condition, because you see in a few condition of a low light data, you can see that there is a part where we cannot see anything, where it's very dark, and there's a part where it is emitted with enough light. So this logic actually really helps a lot with the model, because the low light condition operates the same thing. So what is inside the RCNN head? It has a region proposal network where it see where is the possible region that has the most possibility of a detection, and then the most region features will be put in the ROI line, and then will be extracted of the region features, and it will result it to a fully connected one, and will be refined into a fully connected two. It will be put into a classifier, and it will be put in classes where we want to detect it, and it will be put on a bounding box to help you notice what you see. Next. So these are the model architecture of my object detection. there's a pre-processing, there's a backbone, there's a neck, and there's the head. And this is all that I can explain to you. I hope my explanation can help you understand what and how this model works. Thank you.
Okay, maybe it's done for our team present about the progress semester, mid semester progress the security pattern robot. Maybe close finish the all. For me is enough. And thank you so much and see you. Yes, siap. Semuanya.
Oke, aku keluar ya. Dadah.
Apa?